All right, guys, so what I'm doing is I need a 5-volt power supply. Now, this is obviously 5 volt, 3 volt, or 3.3 volt, and 12 volt, but I am going to turn this into a strictly 5 volt power supply. Cheap and dirty trick. I believe this one is, let's take a peek, amperage wise. Let's see. So this is a 16 amp on the 12 volt rail. If you look there, it'll focus. Or on the 5 volt rail. So I need it to be a 5 volt only. And so I'm going to show you real fast a cheap and dirty trick. Basically what you do is you come in here and you cut your zip ties off and get this all out of the case. Now, I never touch a power supply if it's been on it in a week at least. This one's been out for a long time. I've had the computer sitting here forever. You can see in my junk pile of PCs over there. It came out of one of those. But yeah, if you're not comfortable pulling one of these apart, don't. These caps right here, there's some small caps down here, can be dangerous, especially if they've been on recently. You know, full discharge on the caps if you can get it. Perfect. Give me a second. I'm going to pull this out and I'll show you real fast what it looks like outside of the case. So this particular power supply had 4 screws in the board, 1 on each corner, and then 1 kind of tucked under here. And then on top, it had a ground cable that needs to be undone from the case. Next, you'll take the fan out, and it'll still stay connected, but you'll just take everything out. Okay, fan is loose and out. It uses standard cutter screws, like any other, most of your plastic fans use. Next, we'll be getting the power and then the switcher out. Okay, so we got the board out, fan still attached, the voltage switcher, and the power supply, the power cord in. This is just the board with the wires for your like 24 pin and all your Molex stuff and like your PCI or yeah, this is your motherboard 4-pin. Like I said, this is a bit of an older power supply, so you know it's gonna have kind of ancient technology like Molex connectors, you know. Anyways, floppy drive connector, whew, that's old. So yeah, that's what you do. Get it all out. I'm going to go through and I'm going to cut all these zip ties off and then we'll be right back. Okay, so right out of the gate, we've got all of our zip ties off. We're going to remove every wire except for the blacks, which are the grounds, the red, which are 5 volt, and then this green wire right here, we're going to connect that to a ground, directly to a ground. And then everything else, we're going to cut it short. And then we'll use some heat shrink to manage them in there and keep them from touching anything. Like I said, this is quick and dirty. So if you don't feel comfortable doing this, do not do it. It's not worth it. You know, don't want to scare the hell out of yourself or possibly pop something. But this is my quick and dirty method of doing power supplies, turning them into what I need them to be. See, I have another one over here on my desk. I've already done this too. I kept the 12 volt for this for a fan controller for a future project. You'll see this guy right here. And then these are all been barrel connected except for this one. So we got barrel connectors attached right there. And then we have this one that hasn't. It's still closed off. I've kept it taped up nice and tight so it won't slip out. This is going to be for a really neat project that I'm making. It looks janky as hell, let's be real, but it's pretty cool. So stay tuned. But that's basically what I'm doing with said power supply over here is I'm going to harvest all the wires out of it, get rid of all of everything but the red and black wires. I don't even need a 12 volt on this one. This one's just a quick and dirty power supply I'm going to be using to power some projects that I'm going to be needing. So anyways, that's really it. Get it out of the case. You know, watch for these connectors. Some of the fan connectors are removable, so if you're thinking about possibly upgrading a fan, you can. When you do this, look in here really good and look for popped capacitors. You know, if they don't have this X on them like this, throw it away. Don't even bother. You know, look for good. All the capacitors are in good shape. Nothing's popped. I actually, and I think I tossed it. I did that already. I built one of these like I was doing with this, and I got almost all the way through with the barrel jacks on it and everything, and turned out it was toast. It had a blown capacitor. I plugged it in. It was getting hot for no reason because I was on a 5-volt rail. I mean, the 5-volt rail is pretty light load. I had 2 USB hubs powered off of the 5-volt rail, and it just was burning up. And so I was like, yeah, this ain't going to work. This is toast. But yeah, so that's what you do. Just pretty simple. Like I said, if you're not comfortable doing this, do not do this. Can't stress that enough. But you know, you won't need any of these connectors. You can cut them all off. I usually start like right here at this solder connector. I'll cut it off at the very bottom one, and then I'll come over here to here, do the same there. And at this plug, I'll just separate all the wires I need and cut them off. And then I'll get all the, if I can, I'll get all of the 12 volts, which are these yellow wires right here. And I'll just cut them flush, nice clean cut, a nice pair of, I use these guys right here, or I use a nice pair of side cutters. And then just shrink rack them all together and keep them short. Keep that stubby, you know, 2 inches out of there, and that's it. Same with everything else. And then, like I said, connect the green and the black, and you'll have a pretty sweet, inexpensive power supply with 5 volt. I don't dare play with the 12 volt. I don't know enough about 12 volt to not get hurt by it. So yeah, I'll stick with just doing the 5 volt stuff. But till next time.